Welcome to Tips for Gamers. Today we're going to talk about how the Texans will excel from their 2023 NFL Draft. There was a lot going on there. It's very dramatic. I was intense. If you're a Texans fan, you got to be feeling happy. You have all these emotions going on right now. And instead of just jumping in and saying, hey, what is the Houston Texans grade A through Z? I'm going to go over, basically pass or fail, and then I'm going to talk about the identity of these players that they chose and how that's going to fit into the Houston Texans system. So we're going to just kind of go through all that. Also, make sure to hit that like button, guys. It helps you dominate in life. It helps you become a stronger person. It is going to help create you a nickname at work or wherever you're at. People are going to start calling you a cool nickname. You get a lot more high fives, so make sure to hit that like down below. Also, comment, how do you think the Texans did? Talk about individual scenarios, players, and do you think it was worth trading up that much? Because we're going to dive into each bit of this or each little piece of this and, try to formulate what the Texans were doing here and how they're going to succeed moving forward with who they picked. The Texans snagged the best quarterback in the draft, in our opinion. We graded him out at a 96 out of 100. If we compare that to Bryce Young in our system, our grading system, is still considered a top 5 player to draft, and he got an 83. So our CLS draft grading had C.J. Stroud incredibly high. Now, the only smoke around C.J. Stroud is the fact that supposedly this S2 that was leaked is low, but that apparently could be wrong numbers. So there's that smoke, and there's also smoke that people were saying that because he goes to Ohio State, that he's not going to be good because no Ohio State quarterback has been good, which is by far the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, and I can't even entertain that form of logic because it's just stupid as hell. So I'm just not even going to talk about that. And then that he wasn't mobile enough. That was those knocks, right? No one ever says, C.J. Stroud's not the most accurate quarterback in college football. Oh, and that he's not the most consistent quarterback in college football, because he is. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Okay, he's the most consistent. So if you look at C.J. Stroud, the type of person he is, Houston Texans fans, you guys are going to love him because he is the type of guy, he doesn't want anything given to him. When he first got to Ohio State told him, look, you got to earn this spot. And it doesn't matter at Ohio State, right? It doesn't matter what your rank is. You can be like, I'm a 5-star. Yeah, you and 1,000 other guys, right? That's nothing special. You got to earn your spot. And C.J. Stroud loves that, okay? He wants to earn that spot. He doesn't want to give it to him, and he's going to bust his tail doing that. So that's who you're getting. You're getting a quarterback who is just incredibly accurate. His accuracy and his throwing mechanics already, right now, out of the gate, are better than most of the guys in the NFL. That's how his accuracy is, to that level. I mean, it's insane how accurate he is and how he can process a defense. And he's going to need some help along the ways. And, it is funny because he has to prove himself. There's no doubt. All these guys do. But Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryan's got to prove themselves as well. Nick Caserio, you got to prove yourself that you're actually a good general manager and that you can provide around Stroud and provide around Will Anderson, both sides of the ball, because that's what you did in this draft. And D'Amico Ryan's, you got to prove that you're actually a good head coach. All right? And so as much as Stroud has to prove something, Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryan's got to prove more. And then Houston makes this massive trade, moving back up to the 3rd spot. They also got the 105th. They had to give up their 12th overall in the 1st round, the 33rd in the 2nd, 1st in 2024, 3rd in 2024, and that's massive. I mean, that's a huge statement to go and draft Will Anderson. So all in all, I like the Will Anderson Jr. Draft. In trade, I think it's exciting, but I got to say, would I have done things differently? Yeah, I personally would have. But, I don't get paid to do this, but you got to think about this trade here. That's like saying Will Anderson. I mean, he's better than so many guys with this. That's what that's saying. You're talking 2 first-round picks and a 2nd-round pick, to move up, and you didn't necessarily have to. You just absolutely love this guy. So he's got to end up being better than several guys. I mean, at pick 12, you could have gone Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I really think that would have been amazing if you went Jackson Smith and Jigba and kind of remade like what the Bengals did with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. You did that on the Houston Texans. It would have been exciting. It would have added plenty of weapons to your offense and on defense, and I'm not neglecting the defense here. On the 33rd pick that you had here that you traded to Arizona and Tennessee ended up trading up for it to get Will Levis, you could have got B.J. Ojulari. And no one can convince me that B.J. Ojulari is not almost as good as Will Anderson. You just can't convince me. I think BJ's a dog. I think he's an absolute beast. There's something about this guy. This guy is deadly. And Arizona picked him up. And so you could have gotten, several pieces. And all these guys are supplemented for Will Anderson Jr. You're talking the first-round pick of 2024 next year. Think about that. You would have had 2 first-round picks of next year. If you didn't do good, you're in contention for Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, you got another pick to trade up for him, too. You could have Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., and C.J. Stroud, and still have draft picks for all the rest of your position needs. So that's where I'm looking at it and going, oh, man, Will Anderson better be that guy, because Texans made him that guy. So Juice Scruggs was drafted next in the second round, pick 31. Now, I don't mind this pick at all. I think it's filling your team needs. The positives on him is that he is a good run blocker. Pass blocking is where he struggles. It's not great to hear when you just got C.J. Stroud, but that's where he struggles. He needs to do a little bit better. On the really strong interior D lineman that he faced, he struggled against those guys in pass blocking. And run blocking, not so much, but when he had to go one-on-one with a guy, pass blocking, hand placement is a little off. Just needed to work on overall mechanics as an offensive lineman. But I can't complain here. I mean, there's not much to complain with. I think, sure, you could cherry pick and say that you could have gotten some better guys maybe, but it's a guy they believe in. And, sometimes you believe in a guy with some talent and you coach him up, this guy could end up being pretty good. And so I think that they thought that with him, and I think there's a possibility with that for sure. So in the third round, pick 6, Tank Dell's picked up. Tank Dell's 160-something pounds out of Houston, wide receiver, really good. Clayton Tune was his quarterback. Solid quarterback, not too bad. I like Tank Dell. He was the guy that they really looked for in the red zone too, because he just does such a good job of getting open. He's very sneaky fast, and just very sneaky fast. I mean, he's just not a big dude, but just very scrappy. Okay, so I like Tank Dell. I like him a lot. Here's one thing, though, that I'm really having a tough time. Trenton Simpson falling. Okay, I don't know how anyone didn't pick him up in the third round right away. I don't know how. I don't know, and I don't understand it. But we're not going to talk about that, because the Ravens just got another great linebacker, and that's what we're going to do. That's what Ravens do. They always do that. And they're going to chalk it up as the Ravens made him amazing, even though he was really good. I don't know why he fell. Anyways, we're not talking about that. Tank Dell, I like him. You needed another receiver. You had to bring him on. So the fourth round, they got Dylan Horton, who's got talent. Okay, this guy's played big-time ball at TCU. He played well against big-time opponents like Michigan. He is a player that has talent. There's no question. So I can't complain with this whatsoever. You bring him on. If he doesn't do good, it's a fourth-round pick. If he does, you look like a genius. So all in all, I like Dylan Horton. I think this is a good pickup. So with Xavier Hutchinson, I like this pick. Okay, I do. I like this pick. There's nothing that is just off the charts in any which way with Xavier Hutchinson. It's not like he's 6'4", 6'5", super big. It's not like he's running a 4.3, nothing like that. He's just Xavier Hutchinson. He's just productive, right? He's hard to bring down. He's going to fight like hell, and that's what he does. He catches the ball. He's aggressive, and what could happen with him? With C.J. Stroud at the helm, C.J. Stroud can throw guys open. So Xavier Hutchinson gets the right coaching, he can end up doing pretty well.